now.
There she is. Friday's letting us know that we're recording. All right. Okay. Well, it's been a while. I'm glad that we could get back together again. It's been far too long for us to have put off doing that episode, or life just getting in the way. But how are you guys doing? Because it seems like it's been so long. So just before we get down to business, on a personal level, how the hell are you guys?
Jay?
Ladies first. No, ladies first.
I am doing great. I am extremely busy, with different film fests that I'm able to go to and cover, and reviews that I'm going to, press screenings that I'm really excited for. I just went last week to the press screening of Top Gun Maverick, and Charles Parnell and Bashir. I'm going to butcher his last name, so I'm not going to try. But Hondo and Warlock were there. Sweet as can be. And it's nice that they were two of my favorite people in the film. And that was great to meet them. Music Box Theater in Chicago is having some great screenings. I've got a few more podcasts I'm going to be guesting on lined up. We're going to be talking about Men and Watcher, and I believe Crimes of the Future. I'm very excited. Watcher was one of my favorite films out of Panic Fest, so I'm very excited to discuss that and everything that Micah Monroe did, and the director of that film, which I will bow down to her and just support anything she does, because Watcher is like just a feast for the eyes. And yeah, I'm excited for the summer. I'm excited to see Black Phone. I'm excited for Bodies. I think everyone knows I'm an A24 girl, despite what people say, and I'm excited to see stuff coming out this year. So it's been great.
Outstanding. Hopefully still excited about Horror Hound coming up too.
Of course. Are you kidding? Yeah.
And don't forget to plug the show on your podcast if you guys
are on podcast.
Got to plug the show. You got to plug Horror Hound.
Oh yeah.
But glad to hear everything's going good. Jay, I know you had just got back from a little long weekend getaway.
Got back from a long weekend getaway. We celebrate 2 years with my love Susan. We had a great time.
Nice.
For me though, I pulled my sciatica a couple weeks ago, so I'm recovering right now, which is I'm progressing. But aside from that, in the same vein Katie's talking about, I'm looking forward to the summer and looking forward to the fall. I mean, Horror Hound, Philadelphia Named Film Festival, Highlands Horror Film Festival here in Jersey, among others that I'm thankful to be a part of and work with the team. Plus, hopefully, Fantasia. I'm going to get up to Montreal this year. A lot's depending on it, because I am so excited. And I just started putting out some photos on it, but I have a new short film that's hopefully going to be world premiering in the fall. It was my second student short film entitled No Good Deed. And it stars Gunnar Tyler, Isaac Connor, and I am blanking. But anyway, so the point is that it's going to be hitting this fall, and we pretty much have a world premiere locked up. So more about that as we get it out there. But it's very different from what I've done before. It's more of a thriller rather than horror or experimental. And a lot of people that have seen it are very excited, giving a lot of good feedback. And we're still tweaking it, working on sound. But, Oz and Katie, it's something I've been working a lot on. So it's kind of taken me away from what I've been doing more with Horror Happens and Horror Hound. Still got the deadlines. I think issue 94 is due to come out soon from Horror Hound, hopefully. I know that's a whirlwind trying to see a magazine out there because of a lot of different things. But, I've been working a lot on that and just enjoying life and kind of adjusting to a lot of different things with work and stuff like that, and happy to be here. I just like Katie, there's not a lot of time in the schedule to be able to do things, even for stuff I love to do. There's not a lot of time to do it. And Alexa Downing, and she plays a very crucial role as Hannah in the short No Good Deed. See, nice. That's what happens when you've worked 12 hours today, folks. Things eventually pop up in your old age. So a big thank you to them and everyone involved with that. But yeah, Oz, it's trying to fit in the schedule, because you have family, you got everything going on. So, it's not easy.
Yeah, we got tons of stuff going on, kids, but sports, work, now we're looking, it looked like we were going to be relocating to, Florida. Now we're not. Well, we're putting it off for a year. We're putting it off for a year. We still have to move. So we're doing that. We're going to move next week. But we're just moving, across the street, still in the same. Kids don't have to switch schools and all that kind of jazz. So that's good.
That's nice.
So things are starting to calm down a little bit, which is nice. But we decided we're gonna stay put for a year, and then instead of trying to relocate like on the fly, we're gonna try to plan it out, because a lot of this was unexpected. Things just kind of thrown at us. So we'll be around for a while, and even if I did relocate, I was still planning on, Horror Hound is like family to me. So I was still going to plan on, whether it's indie, Cincy, one-off shows, whatever. That's still very near and dear to my heart, and I would miss seeing you guys at our film festivals and stuff, and my other friends that I've seen had there for years. So I would just have a much better tan.
I can see you in the Speedo, Oz. I can see you in the Speedo.
Come on now. Come on.
So starting on our first horror topic today, Oz in the Speedo. Go.
Yeah. We'll keep a big X on that one.
Okay.
But I love the sun and the sand. So
good.
But anyway, we're glad to hear everybody's doing well and as healthy and all those good things. This episode we are going to talk about Firestarter. And honestly, I got to give Jay credit for this one, because honestly, I know Katie brought it up in our chat thing initially, but honestly, I had no intentions of seeing this film whatsoever. I saw the trailer and everything, and I was just like, and I mean, I like Stephen King. I loved the original film, and I knew going in that it was going to be impossible to watch this without comparing it to the original.
You mean this?
Oh my God.
That right there. Yes. So I got to give Jay credit, because he said he saw it and he actually enjoyed it. So, and I respect his opinion so much that I was like, well, hey, if Jay said he enjoyed it, it can't be that bad, right? Crickets. I don't know. So anyway, and then Katie said, well, hey, it's on Peacock. So I'm like, I don't even have to make sure that the kids don't destroy the house, and we go out and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, all right, well, we'll give it a shot. Although I do prefer to see movies in the theater, but
yeah.
So I got to give you credit on this one, Jay. So
okay.
But I don't know, who wants to start off? We want to go ladies first, or do we want to go Jay first and see kind of how do you guys want to go?
Why don't we go with the positive? So that would be Jay.
All right. I'm so glad the positive is me.
It makes it sound like she's kind of thinking we can get the positives out of the way kind of quickly. And
no, we cannot. We cannot get the positives out quickly. You know what? I got to tell you something. I will agree with you, and probably with Katie, because I'm interested to hear what Katie has to say about pre-seeing the movie, because honestly, I really had no intention of wanting to go see the movie either. Now, the one thing that drew me to the movie was Keith Thomas. Keith Thomas, for those who don't know, is the writer and director of The Vigil, which came out last year. I believe IFC Midnight, and I had the chance to see it in Sitges in 2019, and I had a chance to interview him, the writer and producer and lead actor. And I'm going to tell you something. If for those who have seen The Vigil, you'll understand why I was excited for what he could do with Firestarter. Plus, it's a Blumhouse property. Hold on. There you go. Blumhouse.
There he is.
I don't know if you can see her or not. There's Jason Blum and his Funko Pop heaven, whatever you can see. There we go. All right. With that being said, knowing what Keith Thomas could do made me very excited to want to see what it is. Then I saw the trailer and I went, I'm good. I don't need to see it. However, though, and I give credit to Susan Decker, my love, we got the A-list membership for the AMC, and we go 2 to 3 times a week to the movies. So we see everything now at the movies about 10 minutes late. And she wanted to go see it. And I said, okay, I'll go see it. And I got to tell you guys, between the fact of what Keith did with this movie, because this could have easily have been the train wreck as the sequel was, as other, offshoots of it was, because you're not going to replicate what the original was. And I didn't go in there thinking that's impossible. Trumpet. Exactly. I mean, when you're using real practical fire and flamethrowers in the original, and you have to use CGI in this one, it's already at a disadvantage. However, though, beyond what Keith did with this film, which I thought they did a really good job for what they had and what they were working with and the pressures, I'm going to put it comparison, not in overall a great film, but just in the mindset of what Maniac was. When Maniac came out, I want to say 2012, it was a great blend of nostalgia and a modern take on the classic. And I think that's what Firestarter does here. It does have obviously nostalgic connections to what the 1984 film was. And that includes bringing in John Carpenter, his son, and their partner to do the score, which I thought was one of the best parts of that movie. But also the fact that they kind of took it in a little bit of a different way. Not much, they didn't veer off too much, but they did it enough where I actually found it enjoyable enough. Even though there are some corny ass lines in there, especially in the third act, which just made me want to shake my head and bang my head against the wall there. For what a Blumhouse film is, I think they found the balance between the old and the new, and they did a pretty decent job. I enjoyed it. Was it the best film of the year? Not by any stretch of the imagination, but was it an enjoyable film? You can go for an hour and a half and get lost and enjoy the story and actually see a little bit of range from Zac Efron, believe it or not. A little bit of range. A little. Katie, see my fingers? A little bit of range, because I thought his casting was terrible. I gotta argue with that. One more thing. And this goes into kind of the layers of the film. Casting someone like Zac Efron, a strong, big, muscled, handsome guy in the very vulnerable state, is actually a really genius casting, because he is taken to his knees by a little girl. And for those who want to see a film that's better about a girl with special powers and learning, go see Freaks, folks, because Freaks is a much better film than what Firestarter is, about a little girl who's coming into her own and has her emotions driving her powers, especially after her mother and her father end up getting into some very dangerous territory. So with that being said, I enjoyed it. Would I see it again? Probably not, but I thought that it was worth going to see. And in the theater with the sound and the picture, it's not a bad movie to see in the theater.
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, one thing first of all, I gotta apologize for some reason. I don't know what's going on. I know we're in the process of moving stuff around. I don't know what's going on with the lighting in my office here. But it looks really dark in here for some reason. So I apologize for that. I'll try to figure that out before the next episode. But the one thing, I agree with pretty much everything that you said. And I will say overall, this was, like I said, it was very enjoyable. It didn't feel, the pacing of it, I thought was great. There wasn't really anything where I noticed that it was slowing down beyond what it should. I think I have to argue with the Zac Efron a little bit of range, because now maybe you don't see the comedic part in this, but everything we've seen Zac Efron in the past, he's always been the dumb, like you said, muscle bound, eye candy kind of thing. It was nice to see him. Now I know he played Ted Bundy in that film, and he did a pretty good job. He did a pretty good job in that film. I thought it was going to be a little different than it was, but he did a really good job in that one. But this one, I thought I mean, I felt for him in this one. I mean, I felt like he very much was a tortured soul in this one. And I could see his anguish, you know, with what he was going through with his wife and his daughter, and you know, I that part I gotta give him credit. I thought that he had a very, very strong performance in this one. The thing that I did miss, which is a plus and a positive from the original, is, I mean, there's just no replacing George C. Scott. Now, granted, it was a big miss in the original that they had him playing a Native American, and I mean, that was kind of a miss. But there's no you know, replacing George C. Scott right there and that role for Rainwater. Rainbird, sorry. Rainwater was on Yellowstone. Sorry.
I, even if I don't like a film, I want to try at least have 3 positives. One, the score by Carpenter. I agree with you, JK, on that. 2, Michael Gray Eyes, absolutely fantastic. I love him. I thought he was underused in the film, but I love him. I think he always makes everything better. The third one, it took me a little while, but then I actually have 4. The third one is Zac Efron without a shirt on. And then 4, yeah, that's right. 4 is the production design, the sets, they actually were quite so. I mean, I give it to the crew. Watching this film, if I watch it, I'm trying not to think of the original. I'm going to curse a little bit. It's really hard for me to feel for the protagonist when they're acting like an asshole. And no offense, but that child was an asshole. She is a jerk.
Yeah, she was.
That whole sequence when she burns her mother, 3rd-degree burns. And then when she's in the truck with her dad, says, yeah, it was supposed to be you. And Zac Efron's like, let's go inside and check on your mom. That was horrible.
Yeah,
that was such a stupid scene that it's like, give me a break. I think that, I don't know, I think that the actress is a fine actress. I just don't think that this is her best role. Like, I know she's 11 years old, so she's a good amount older than Drew Barrymore was in the original. But for her to be doing a number of the sequences that she was is straight up sociopathic serial killer stuff. And it's like, I can't feel that it's like, oh God, I'm so bad that it's so sad that you have these powers and all that stuff. But it's like, you are 11, and no offense. I mean, Jeremy, you're a father. What the hell was Zac Efron doing? At no point was he chastising this child for doing this. Like, well, now you just have to burn that cat because, you have to do. It's like,
oh my God, yeah, right.
You need to parent. Why are you not parenting? And
well, you know what though? That I gotta say though, that kind of goes with the time that we're in right now, because so many parents. Not that it's an excuse by any means, but that's what parents do nowadays. They let kids are the ones running the show.
Because what happens? She gives her mom 3rd-degree burns, and then what does the mom say? Can you take her for ice cream or go to a movie? I'm sorry. Did you just give that child a present for scarring you for life?
That is reward them. That's what happens nowadays.
Just rewarded her.
That's awesome. That's why kids are all such assholes today. Nowadays.
Exactly, and she was a prime asshole. I thought it was very interesting with the way they did the twist at the end.
I did too. I loved it.
Yeah, because I mean, I think they're definitely looking towards a sequel, which is also it's going to be like once those little secrets come out. By the way, guess what I did to your mom? Let's go get some ice cream and go see the movie. Whoops. Sorry. But yeah, so then it's like after I watched that, I watched the 1984 one. I mean, you've got like 4 Oscar winners in the 1984 one.
I mean, by far.
Yeah, I mean, David Keith. Yeah,
David
Keith is a fantastic father. And it's like he actually chastises her and teaches her. It's like, you need to use this, which so I mean, to me, there were just so many things about it that I just couldn't wrap my head around. Well, I mean, I was trying not to compare it to the original, but just when you have a kid who's an asshole who then can just set the world on fire, it's like, okay. And I don't know if they were trying, because I wasn't sure about this, but if they were trying to do try and make it like that Twilight Zone episode where the kid can take, it's like, just put him in the cornfield. Let's just do that. Let's wish it away. Let's do that. I could somewhat see if that was maybe an influence, but I don't know. I just feel like it's really dumb that you've got these parents who have superpowers and they're not trying to teach their kid like how to harness them or how to work with them, like even at double-digit age. And the whole thing about sending her to school, there were just so many things. It's like, let me get this straight. One, girl, you don't work. Why don't you just homeschool your kid? Right. It's like, she's not going to be normal. There's just so many things. And it's like, come on, this is dumb. And also, if you're going to burn somebody, burn that little bastard that hit you with the ball, girl. Like, forget the bathroom door, burn him up. He deserves it. He's a dick.
Yeah.
He's a little mini dick who's not going to get better. I can guarantee you.
Well, you know what? Stop talking about me. Okay. I'm all grown up. Okay. All right. Just stop talking about me right now. Okay. All right. So, you know what, Katie, I want to jump in because this is one of the problems I had with it. And I've had a lot of issue with what Blumhouse has done. And I'm a big fan of what Jason Blum and everyone does because they're really trying to recreate the classics. They're doing a good job in putting out very compelling cinema. They're not A24, they're not Neon, so don't compare them or go in with that kind of mindset. Unless you want to see birthing scenes in like Men. I'm just saying. With that being said,
we can talk about that one some other time, my friends.
I'll be happy to. It's incredible practical effects, but the truth of the matter is, I think what this film suffers from is twofold. One, why it's a balance of the past and the present. I think it tries too much to be in the past style-wise, including Carpenter's score, which was great, but it also tries to tackle issues that wasn't part of the societal norms back then. Bullying has always been around, but if you go back to when this film was made, had nothing to do with bullying. This was about a organization that was running tests and they were on the run. That was the primary crux of what the 1984 one was. This one, she's a tortured soul. The parents are tortured souls. They're, at least 30% of it is about her being bullied and giving us a reason to feel sympathy for her. When you make the characters worse than her, and then you make her worse than the characters at the end, it's a formula that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem. And that's a problem with Blumhouse. And I don't want to sound like I'm being insensitive to the viewer out there, but the truth of the matter is every film that seems to come out of Blumhouse now has some sort of social message to it. They're using horror as a platform, and it's sometimes it works. Horror is a great platform. Sci-fi is a great platform to get issues out there. Go back to every film, I always think of Night of the Living Dead. That's the first one that comes to mind about racial tensions, how our country was. It was done right. A lot of Blumhouse stuff is not done right because it's more about being sensitive to the audience and really affecting the material. And in this case, the idea of bullying through the entire thing and then her being a bully to her family, it's so contradictory, it hurts. And that's a big problem I have with Blumhouse.
Very contradictory.
Very much to it. And, the other side of it is the dollar sign. The dollar sign drove this movie. That's why Zac Efron's in it, because they're trying to get that young crowd in there. He's hot. He's got a great bod, as Katie said earlier in her 4 things. It's sex appeal. It's all that. But the simple fact is this. They want to get the most mainstream audience they can, and that's a family audience. And guess what the family audience is primarily going to be made of for this? Demographic, 11 to probably 16 or 17. all those kids who are raised in a society now where they have control over their families, over the situation. They can do what they want, because if you tell them that they're wrong, guess what? You're wrong. Yep. And in Firestarter is a prime example of this. And that's why we're seeing it driven, where the girl is basically, I agree with you, she is somewhat of a monster to her family. You know, God forbid, kill the cat, burn the cat. Are you serious? Are you really serious?
Yeah, we're spawning serial killers now.
Yes,
I guess so.
Well,
we're back. And you know what, Katie, I couldn't agree more with you. Richard Grey Eyes was fantastic in this. He was one of the best things that was put into this film. And I agree with you about it. I love George C. Scott. I don't want to hear any more about this. His voice, his crack of voice. You know what? It was such a great character. It was probably the best character in the entire movie, because it was so conflicted right from the beginning. And that's one thing I loved. I love the underlining message of finding your tribe, finding who you belong with, and understanding that. So there was some merit to it. But you know what? Gloria Rubin, you were a great antagonist. I enjoyed.
Yeah, she was. She was.
It was so good,
and it was so good to see her, because I've always seen her on ER.
Right.
Always so, you know, she was always so sweet, and so it was actually a little bit refreshing to see her playing a bitch for a change. You know, I mean, I enjoyed it. I really did.
Yeah,
she was the boss. It's Michael Grey Eyes.
I said Michael Grey Eyes.
You said Richard. You said Richard.
Did I say Rich? I'm sorry, Michael Grey Eyes. My apology.
Michael Grey Eyes. But yes, he was fantastic. And I also thought it was interesting showing how he was involved with the whole organization, and, you know, talking to them about like the abuse that he has suffered. And then, you know, it's like before they started, you know, working on Pretty Co-eds, they had to use the lab rats to
as a great line,
do their dirty work and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh man,
exploitation.
That's good. I mean, that's harsh. But yeah, I thought, I don't know, it's also, let's talk about, I mean, when Zac Efron's wife dies, and then, I mean, that's it. Like, he has a dream in the truck, and then that's all. Let's wipe their hands of that. Okay, well, she's gone. And then it's all of a sudden, like, you know, Charlie's, well, the cat scratched me. Well, that's not how we do that. So now you just need to burn it all to death. And no offense, but I think the person I felt most sorry for in this film was when, I mean, spoiler, was, it's not really a key character, but the woman who knows who the hell she was in
her husband.
No. Oh. The woman who was in the underground passage, who saw her, it's like, I can get you out. And she saw the guard behind her. And then it's like, no. And then Charlie freaking burns her to ash. This woman didn't shoot her. This woman didn't hit her. She burned her to nothing. Like, I don't even know if you can get DNA results off her, but I was like, wow, that's some pretty extreme behavior for someone who maybe saw the person behind you and was going to shoot. It's like, damn.
I know what was missing. I figured it out. We needed Zac Efron to sing. We're burning, we're frying. No one's going to be around that's not charred. We could do a whole High School Musical montage after each kill. This would be wonderful.
It would be great if he was like, burn, baby, burn. Burn, baby, burn.
They should have had that playing in like one of the store, like when they went in the store or something, you know, just.
Oh, you know, the writer had that, the screenwriter had that playing when he was writing the script. After she barbecued the security guard, all of a sudden you hear it up in the background for him. But you know what, Katie, one thing that comes to mind that you brought up about her emotional reaction, the difference between her, the actress, let me make sure I got the right name for the actress, Ryan Pure Armstrong,
yes,
and Drew Barrymore, is that with Drew Barrymore played it as a child, and they let the effects and the sound do the emotional work for it. When you knew when she was going to set something on fire in the 84 version, you saw the buildup, you saw the fire, they used practical effects. This one, they relied completely on the actress and her emotions. So you didn't have to, you knew what was going to happen. It kind of shortchanges what that character is, in my opinion. Go ahead.
No, I agree. And actually, after watching Stranger Things, it made me realize it's like you're just giving her like the 11 outburst kind of thing with the like, it's like, okay, I've seen that in Stranger Things. And you would think that she'd be able to, I don't know, again, she's 11. She's had these powers literally her entire life. Like since she was born, she was able to do stuff. And I would think that, you know, in that a decade's worth of time, maybe it's just me, because I mean, if I had a kid who could burn stuff, I mean, one, don't ever have to worry about the heating bill or, you know, anything with the gas fire, and let's go camping all the time. But yeah, it's like, Charlie, can you light that fire? Sure. Aces. But yeah, I feel like she should have been able to handle it a little bit more. I know they tried to say it's like they're just like ignored the fact that she had this thing for God knows how long, and then put her in school with without any Google and all that stuff. But I mean, little tidbit about me, Firestarter, the original, affected me so much. I actually did testing for drugs when I was in college and after to make some, you can make some damn good money. Usually it's a placebo, but maybe there was a little bit of me that was thinking like, maybe it's not placebo. Maybe I'll be able to use my telekinetic powers. And
it's getting hot. Stuff. It's getting hot in here, Katie. I'm sorry. I hated the film. I hated the film. Oh no! I always remember, folks, Robert Rodriguez took experimental testing drugs, and look at where he is right now. So there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
One thing I did want to say, though, is in comparison for the character of Charlie. Okay. Right. Katie, this is kind of one of the things you were saying, trying to kind of find something positive. Okay. I will say one thing I will say. However, I prefer Drew Barrymore in the original film by far. I will say that the new I'm sorry, the actress,
new Charlie.
Yeah, the new Charlie, Miss Anderson. She was a much scarier version of Charlie.
She was like Carrie. She was like Carrie.
I didn't really see Carrie until at the very end. You know, when they finally when Carrie snapped. Up until then, I never really looked at Carrie as a scary. I mean, I just, you know, I had empathy for her. I felt for her because she was, you know, she was just trying to fit in. She was just a little different, you know, and she had these powers and had such a overbearing mother. I mean, she was really the bitch of the movie, I think. But that's the one thing. And it was funny because I read a piece about the original, comparing this, and the writer, although said that how this new Charlie, how he gave her the nod for the character over Drew Barrymore, because Drew Barrymore, when she's going to using her powers and struggling with her emotions and everything, said that she looked more like she was trying to decide between flavors of ice cream than she was wrestling with her emotions and these powers. And I thought that was kind of funny. Not that I would agree 100% with him, but on the aspect that Drew wasn't as scary as her, that part I will agree on.
But wait. But Drew wasn't meant to be scary.
Exactly.
Right. Oh, I understand. Lord. I understand that. But at least in the third act of the movie, that part was, I think, meant to be scary. Now, kind of what you guys were talking about her like ignoring her powers and everything like that. That's what I loved about the original, because in the original, you know, David Keith, her dad, is teaching her how to toast bread and use her powers and trying to use her powers in a positive way, which you would think would help her develop more control over them, as opposed to, well, we'll just act like it's not there, and then when you get pissed off, the whole world goes up in flames.
Modern day reasoning.
Yeah, yes. Exactly. Let's sweep it under the rug. It's scary, so we're not going to deal with it. And you know, but this is the same writer
who in Halloween Kills went ahead and had the entire crowd go after a guy who was a foot shorter and not Michael Myers. Oh, let's start the chant. Yeah. Firestarter dies tonight.
Firestarter dies tonight.
Firestarter dies tonight.
Put out the flame. Put out the flame. Put out the flame.
Oh my God. Oh wow.
Oh wow. That was but I mean honestly, you know, I did enjoy it, and I was glad I watched it. But like Jay said, I probably will not watch it again. I did enjoy the twist at the end. I did, with her walking off with Rainbird. I always want to say Rainwater. But
Michael Gray Eyes.
Excellent.
But honestly, so I don't know which one of you mentioned something about a sequel. I really hope not. They need to leave it right there, because I mean, what are they gonna? Where are they gonna go from now? I mean, who's gonna care about these two assholes? Walking off in the world together. The dad's dead. The mom's dead. He's a piece of shit. I mean, who cares? She's an asshole. I mean, there was nothing likable about her in the entire movie.
You mean
exactly?
At least Drew Barrymore, you liked her. You know?
You mean and Don't Breathe
get pissed off when George C. Scott is befriending her, and you know, I mean,
Oh, you know what, Oz?
Did I not hear what you said? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
No, I say this is going to turn into Don't Breathe 3, because that's the exact plot of Don't Breathe 2. You know, you don't really care. And Stephen Lang is great. I love it that they try and twist his character in Don't Breathe 2, but it just doesn't work for the film. And this is not going to work. You know what? If you want to see something with people with powers, again, go see Freaks, but also wait until the X-Men come into the Marvel universe. Because they're coming, and guess what? You're turning the little girl, Charlie, into Apocalypse. That's what you're doing. She's got, not only does she have the Firestarter power, she's got the mental telepathy, and she's got the telekinesis. I'm going to tell you something. You know what?
She's a triple threat.
Oh my God, she's a triple threat. She's dangerous. It's crazy. The problem with this film is they're again, it comes down to the almighty dollar. I have to balance the fact that I have to include as much as I can with Stephen King and as many cool things to get the key audiences, and I have to be nostalgic and build a sequel. How am I going to do this? Oh wait, let's bring Jason Blum into this. Okay.
Because so everything he touches turns to gold, apparently.
Exactly. He's going to say, abracadabra, evil dies tonight. And guess what? No, it's not going to happen. But you know what would surprise me, Katie? If Drew Barrymore shows up in the sequel. That would not surprise me one bit.
I think that would be great.
I was going to actually suggest that Heather Locklear do a cameo in that. She could probably use a
still alive. He could do it too. Or you could have Jamie Lee Curtis come into it. She's in everything else.
As long as someone actually teaches that kid to respect their elders and listen to stuff, then maybe. I mean, look, I'm just always going to have a problem that it's I understand she can set you on fire and all this stuff, but also she is your daughter and you guys should have been chastising her a while back. It seems like that little kid was getting away with a lot of stuff, and as her parents, and there's no one else around, obviously, it was your responsibility to be teaching her how to use her powers and all that stuff, and you did it. And now she's an unremorseful asshole. So good for you. Good for you.
And and honestly, and speaking as a parent of a teenager who I'm dealing with, behavior issues and all that stuff. I mean, we as parents nowadays, it's not like it was when we grew up, where our parents we get our asses. I mean, these kids have no fear of consequences of parents. Now, I didn't physically fear my parents, but I had fear of consequences. They have none. They have none. They could care now. And my mom, man, if I mouthed off to my mom, I'd have the backhand of. I mean, I'd have some teeth rattling in my mouth. But nowadays, you can't do that. Oh, you're abusing your kid. I mean, you just. It's I mean, I understand there's a fine line between abuse and punishing your kids and all, but I mean, I don't know, something somewhere has got to change, because we're raising a whole generation and now looking to be a second generation of nothing but self-entitled assholes. And that's what it comes down to.
Yes, the consequenceless generation.
Yeah, very much so.
Part due.
And it's like, very much so. Oh, I don't have to do anything. You should just take care of everything. Or someone, it just, you owe me, or, I'm entitled to this, or somebody needs to take care of that. Where's the,
Well, I think it falls, and this is crazy how we're turning into a discussion on parenting, but
I know
it goes to the fault of the writer for how he set the parents up, being afraid and having to hide. If he had done, and this is the conflict that goes through the entire thing, about whether or not the father is going to go ahead. It was the father, Andy, is going to do that. Zac Efron's character is going to actually throw a thought into her mind saying, you can't do this. You can't do this. You've got to stop doing this. And that's what the mom's pushing for. So, they're trying to set up a conflict between the two parents. And right there, that's one of the biggest issues with this, because for a modern day parenting landscape, that's how a lot of families are. It's conflicted, not on the same page when it comes to it, but you're, again, adapting material from the 80s where it was a completely different dynamic on how parenting. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that every family was united. There was problems. There was issues. Always, without a doubt. But again, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You've got to be, or I should say, you can't have your barbecue and eat it too when it comes to this, because of the fact that.
How do you like your ribs?
Exactly right. Extra crispy. But you can't have it like that, because it just doesn't work. It throws off the beats of the film. It takes you out of the story because you have nothing to invest in. And you don't even have the parents on there long enough to invest in one perspective or another, because they are this is 90 minutes or 95 minutes, whatever it is. And that's what they're trying to do. To be honest with you, in the landscape of something like this could have easily been an hour and 45 minutes, maybe longer. And I would have welcomed more of a backstory. I would have welcomed more interaction. It would have made me invest in what they were doing, and maybe invest in Charlie, because we would have saw more development of her character, other than a bratty girl who's got powers and her family is afraid of what she's going to do. I'll tell you something. All they have to do is one time stand up to her and build that respect. And it sounds crazy, but it's not in a fictional movie, because that's the reality of what it is nowadays.
Yeah. Right. Which, let's go.
Did you not see? I took it at the end, or just real quick. I took it at the end that he did put that thought in, that he was the one who.
But that was at the end. He released her at the end.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I thought the way I took it was that he was the one who, she didn't want to burn him, but he put that thought into her and made her do it to get her.
No, yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understood that right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. And the wife was saying forever, you got to do something, He didn't want to do something.
And he realized
guilt
it too late.
And other things,
He realized it too late.
Yeah.
Is what it was. Yeah.
No, okay. I completely agree with you, Jay, that there need to be more backstory, especially to get invested with the characters. Because the whole thing with Lot 6 and Kurtwood Smith, it's like,
oh, well, yeah. Yes.
Am I wrong? Because I mean, I have seen this a few times, but it's like when Gloria Rubin was with Kurtwood Smith in his little old folks home and stuff, and he was like, take the pixie sticks, and she was like, I want you to help out. He's like, I can't do that. Well, that's that's unfortunate. Did I miss something, or did nothing happen after that?
Nothing. They cut that out. I guarantee you they cut out the footage that was there. I was waiting for him to go, dumbass, she's going to do something to you, just like you would have done in that 70s show. I was waiting, because why do you bring an actor like him?
Exactly.
A minor cameo. It makes just like, who's the other guy? Who had more of a role? John Beasley, the husband. That's a whole nother storyline. That had more development than the backstory of Kurtwood Smith. Even if you wanted to tie it to the original Firestarter in 1984. This is the problem with the 2016 Ghostbusters. I have no issue that they have a Ghostbusters that focuses on a female-driven team. Love it. I think it's great. But my problem is You make all the characters, all the history go away. You make all the Ghostbusters become minor characters who aren't even themselves. It makes no sense. And this is the same thing here. You could have easily tied it in to the 1984 version and had some history revolving around it. Even if you just touched on it, it would have set more of a foundation and made me want to invest more than what I did with this film.
Agreed.
Yeah, it just seemed like such a waste. And I mean, just to get into more of Lot 6, like what about the people that were like Rainbirds? Like where are the rest? Like where it's like now that you know that there's like two separate things, like did they do more? I mean, I'm sure that those co-eds weren't the only co-eds that they worked on and stuff. It's like going with that. I mean, you know, because I mean, the thing is with Charlie's parents is like, these are powers that were thrust upon them, not that they were born with. So when they're not able to like hold on to him, and like the dad, it's like, you know, little pinprick hemorrhages in his brain or whatnot. It's all that stuff. It'd be interesting to see the second generation that's going on with the rest of them. But no, you never want to do that. And that would have been, I think, if Kurtwood Smith like had more of a developed character, and that could have been something. It just, I mean, like we were saying, I feel like that was a waste. And then it's like, you know, it seems like she was going to kill him, or Rainbird would have come in and done the same thing that, you know, George C. Scott did in the first one. But it just like, you know what, let's just skip that scene. We all know what's going to happen. We don't need to really go into it, don't we?
You want a prediction of what the sequel's going to be based on? Ready? You want to take a guess where my head's at with this one?
Second generation of Lot 6.
Come on, this is going to be, it's so easy. So easy. Ready? The Bourne Identity. The Bourne Identity will be your backdrop. Think about it. They're going to activate the other agents. They're going to come after Gray Eyes or Rainbird and the Charlie, and they're going to be on the run, and they're going to come into other ones. Oh, wait, that sounds like the Eternals too. I'm sorry. That sounds exactly like the Eternals. Let's go find the other ones now.
Let's go find the other ones.
Let's go find the other ones. And, oh, wait a minute. The creepy ass Harry Douglas character comes out of a portal with the troll. Give me a break. Creepy guy. Anyway, so the point is that the sequel, I think that's where they're going with the sequel. If they're going to do a sequel, I think it made enough money for a sequel. I mean, these movies are made for $1 million or $2 million. The initial ones. That's the Blumhouse model. That's why it makes so much money. And the call, burn it down, burn it down, burn it down, burn it down. Oz, evil dies tonight.
Look, this is in probably my top 10 worst films of the year, but yeah, I think there will probably be a sequel.
Yeah.
And you know what?
I mean, I saw
the only
that
thing
from the. I mean, I thought it was pretty obvious that they're.
The only thing that I will look forward to as a sequel is Michael Gray Eyes, because I think he's amazing. Watch Blood Quantum. Watch The Indian. I mean, he should have been nominated last year, honestly, for The Indian. But yeah, he is a phenomenal actor that, as I said, was underused in this, as were a number of other characters and whatnot. But like Zac Efron topless, good for that. Great score, even if it was Tangerine Dream in the first one. You know, Carpenter and the Kids, that's fine. And
Carpenter Family Band.
That's right, Carpenter Family Band.
I love it, love it. All I want in the sequel is to have Vanessa Hudgens, Ashley Tisdale, and Lucas Grabel come in, and I want the high school reunion going after who took down Zac Efron. That's what I want in the sequel.
Jason Blum. Yeah.
Exactly.
This is what's going to happen.
They aren't working, folks. Well, Vanessa was fantastic in Tick, Tick, Boom. She was fantastic in Tick, Tick, Boom.
She's great in Frozen Ground. Like, honestly, she was doing a number of films that way outside what you would think.
Yes.
And I loved what she really stretched herself, and I love the chances that she took. And I mean, especially Frozen Ground with Nicolas Cage and John Cusack.
Yes.
Which I think both of them had phenomenal performances. And yeah, if she does more stuff like that, I mean, I could see her that would not be actually a stretch for her to be in Firestarter 2. Back to the burn.
Back to the burn.
Back to the burn.
But you know what, Oz, one thing that we have to, they better be starting production right now because she's not going to look 11 for very much longer.
No,
they're gonna have to figure out ways to de-age her. She's 13. We have to de-age her to 11. This will take place right after. Oh my God!
They started off and they do a time jump to where her and he have been on the run for a couple of years or
oh my gosh, this is sounding more like a cluster than anything else for the sequel.
Not unlike the film itself, but
hey, it's okay. Evil dies tonight.
I didn't feel robbed for my hour and a half. That I didn't want my hour and a half back, but I'll put it that way.
Okay.
Now, would I have been okay with spending money at the theater to see it? Probably not.
Well, it was a good experience.
Sorry, did any of us actually spend money watching this film? So you spent money watching this film.
It's part of the membership for the A-list. So it was part of seeing it for the movies each week. So yes. So technically, yes. Would I went to see it if I didn't have that and the commitment? Probably not. No, I would have waited till it came on DVD. So probably, end of the year stuff. I'd probably watch it just to see, will it be in my top 10 or top 20 or top 30? Probably not.
No,
but it's definitely not the worst I've seen this year. And I did enjoy it.
Right.
The things we talked about. So,
I don't think it's the worst. I just don't. I do think it's in the worst, but I don't think it's the worst yet.
What did you guys think about the bleeding from the eyes deal?
It's okay.
I thought it was fine. I thought it was the best CGI that they were doing, but I don't know. I mean, it kind of goes on. I don't know. It's the whole bleeding from the nose thing is.
I was just glad they didn't do the exact same bleeding from the nose,
Well, and again, Stranger Things, it's almost overdone.
Yeah.
If they had done a bleeding from the nose, I think anything that's in the not millennium, but whatever the 2 generations are after that, they would just say it's let's just 11 Stranger Things. It's well, technically it's just like the first one. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Limited memory. As I thought the effects. Oh wait a minute. What blood from the eyes? I was too busy looking into Zach's dreamy eyes.
Did he dilate your eyes when you?
No, I'm doing my Katie impersonation. Okay.
No, I was looking at other things, Jay.
My eyes are up here, Katie.
That's right. And I was not looking at the eyes. That shirtless, the sand shirt thing. Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
That's one thing I will give credit, because Zac Efron, for someone on the run and has no power and no internet, he's in really great shape.
Oh, hell yes.
Well, he had nothing else to do but push-ups all day.
Heck yes, he is. He is crunchaholic. Look at that. Woo!
That's like period. That's like period pieces where the teeth are bright white. And it's like come on.
The one thing I was hoping that we would see is something similar to the original with the dude that gets blown into the tree on fire. I was like, man, is there going to be somebody that gets blown completely out? But there was. I was like, it's
not in the production budget. It's not in the VFX budget. The union won't allow it for SAG actors. I'm sorry, Oz. You can't have it. I'm sorry.
No, she just already did the thing where it's like let's just burn you to complete and total cinder ash.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's so much more exciting.
You got the cat, you got that poor lady in the tunnel, and then you've got the guy in the car who it's oh, Daddy said you're in pain, so now I have to burn you to ash. I'm like, girl, you should be feeling some way about this. I understand.
She does not. It really is serial killer territory. It really is serial killer territory.
Big time. But again, that was the whole thing that it's well, I meant it to be you. Let's go see your mom. It wasn't me. So too bad for her. What?
All right. All right. Well, You want to wrap up? Final thoughts, guys. What do you guys? I kind of think we just gave our final thoughts on.
Skip it. Watch the original.
Katie snuffs the Firestarter 2022.
Oh, that was good. Snuffs the Firestarter. I like that. Well done, Oz. Well done.
I'm here all week.
I got burned by the new Firestarter, so go watch the original.
Listen, if you want campy fun, and a balance of the original and more of an updated one, then it's your kind of movie. But when you have lines like "liar, liar, pants on fire," it just kills me that they actually did that. But the point is,
who read that and was like, "That sounds great."
This is a great line, guys. You know, while we're at it, let's have her burn a cat. Oh, wait a minute, we have to do the edit where we can't actually show animal harm. So we're going to imply that it was burned. With stuff like that, I would say, wait till it comes on. It's on Peacock now. If you got an hour and a half, it's not the worst thing in the world to watch. But if you want to see a better film, go see Freaks. It came out 2018, if I'm correct. Freaks came out, and I'll tell you what, it's a much better version of what Firestarter is, with better acting and something you can invest in. And it's done for a micro budget compared to what Firestarter was. But hats off to Blumhouse for continuing to try and reinvent and recreate the classics, because I can't wait for Halloween Ends. Oh yeah, it's going to be the best day ever.
And Freaks is on Netflix, by the way.
Yes, Freaks is on Netflix. Is great. I want to give proper credit. Wait, hold on. Let's bring up Freaks and give proper credit to the minds, because I feel bad. Zach Lipitsky and Adam Stein. And they are both incredible guys. And they, just like Keith Thomas, who you should see The Vigil, which is his best film to date. They are working on a bigger film now, which is great to hear. Hopefully they bring that to it. So Oz, wait, see it on Peacock. Don't see it in the theaters, and support other Blumhouse projects. There you go.
All right. Enough said there. All right. Well, hey, don't forget, guys out there, Horror Hound weekend, September, Cincinnati. What is it? September, what are the dates?
9th through the 11th, I think.
I thought it was the 10th to the 12th. Anyway,
maybe
it's the weekend after Labor Day.
Yeah, exactly.
Get your tickets. Get your tickets. Hocus Pocus reunion.
Yes, Doug Jones announced.
Yes.
It's going to be great. And the film festival. Don't forget the
film festival.
Come
check us out. Yes, come say hi.
It's going to be great.
We will be there. All right. Well, thanks again, guys. We will be back with another episode. Won't be so long, but check us out and take care of yourself. Bye, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.